everyone, and welcome to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode number 71. And the title of this episode is Don't Worry, the Financial Collapse Has Been Contained. Trust me. And we'll just go through everything. But before I begin, I just have to say that for you, those people who listen to me, I let you know that I do have children, and my children came home from middle school, and they have this form that's called Project Sentry. Now, I don't know if anyone has ever heard of this before. I have not until right now. And this is a Project Sentry release permission form. And I'm going to read it to you. The United States Attorney's Office, State Attorney's Office, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, and Memorial Healthcare Systems will be holding 1-hour Project Sentry assemblies for students at your child's school. Project Sentry is the juvenile prevention, intervention, and enforcement initiative of the Department of Justice. Project Safe Neighborhood program. The goal is to graphically demonstrate the negative consequences of illegal use of firearms and involvement in gangs. Emphasis will be on how gun and gang violence exposes individuals to physical bodily harm and imprisonment. Focus will be on the havoc gun and gang violence visits upon families, individuals, and neighborhoods. The presentation is designed to assist young people with making responsible decisions as it relates to firearm possession and gang activity, which can have adverse effect on their future. Some of the photographs in the presentation will show gunshot victims that may be of graphic nature. Please indicate one of the boxes below whether you give permission or not for your child to attend the Project Sentry assembly. Yes, my child will attend. No, my child will not attend. And when I saw this, first of all, I'm sitting here. Of course, they put a Project Safe Neighborhoods program. Now, it's funny how they mix this in with gangs. Now, don't gangs use knives, drugs, chains, and other instruments and do other things than just use guns? And they want to show them these pictures of people getting shot with guns. Well, what about people getting stabbed with knives? People getting hit with baseball bats? How about we let our children see what war is really like and let them show the bodies coming home from families who had to fight in this war so the central bankers can continually put us into debt. To me, this is a brainwashing program to brainwash our youth into giving up their gun rights. That's all this is. This has nothing to do with anything else. This has nothing to do with gangs. You can see exactly what they are trying to do. And it's just funny how this came out today, and it's over the Memorial Day weekend, and there are other kids and teachers in school saying, this is a great thing. This is fabulous. There should be no more guns allowed anywhere. This is what everyone is saying. Again, to me, this is a brainwashing program for the youth. So as they grow up, they can get rid of the Second Amendment. Just like they're going to get rid of the First, the Fourth, and the whole entire Constitution. That is their end game. And I just wanted to put this out there. Listen, if anyone else has heard of this, comment on the X22 Report or comment on YouTube. Send me an email. And, it's just really for the government to do this. I can't believe we even have money to waste our time on this kind of crap. Okay, let's go forward and talk about the economic collapse news. So we saw the Japanese stocks halted. It plunged 1,500 points or so, and it's funny because the Prime Minister of Japan is telling you that it's okay. Don't worry. There's nothing to worry about. This is like normal. Don't worry about everything. And it's just funny when there's something like this happens, they always tell you that it's contained, trust me, don't worry, but you know it's always the opposite. It's always everything that they're not saying. It's always the opposite of what they're saying. And really, but what's even more amusing is that if you look at the markets, the European market, the Asian market, they were down a lot. The global market was down. But the steam and the smoke that was coming off Wall Street and their computer systems to keep this market from going down and to prop it up was working overtime today, because they were doing everything to keep this market and push it back up. And it took everything just to do it. And, since we're in such a great economy, Chicago is closing 50 schools. So that means all of those people will be out of work now. So that's more people out of work because, again, Chicago has a budget problem. They don't have enough money. And, again, all these big cities, all these states, Illinois, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Maryland, California, you name it, they are in big trouble. We saw Detroit declaring bankruptcy. There was another one in California. I forgot which one it was. But it is happening all around us. Just look around. Forget about the stock market for a second. Look around and see what's really happening. So basically, we have people becoming 50 schools. I mean, that's a lot. Now, we'll have overcrowding of schools, people out of work, and this is a recovery. God, I wonder what a depression is like. So there was another interesting article. Someone posted this on The People, and I decided to put this on the Sentinel alerts, and I'm going to mention it here. The World Bank insider blows whistle on corruption. A former insider at the World Bank, ex-senior counselor Karen Hughes, says that the global financial system is dominated by a small group of corrupt, power-hungry figures centered around the privately owned U.S. Federal Reserve. The network has seized control of the media to cover up its crimes. In an interview with the New America, I think I'm saying her name right, Hughes or Huds, said that when she tried to blow the whistle on multiple problems at the World Bank, she was fired for her efforts. Now, along with the network of fellow whistleblowers, HUD is determined to expose and end the corruption. We're going to have a cleaned up financial system. That's where it's going. But in the meantime, people who don't know how the system was gamed are going to find out, she said. We're going to have a different kind of international financial system. It'll be a new kind of world where people know what's going on. No more backroom deals. That's not going to keep happening. We're going to have different kind of media if people don't want to be dominated and controlled, which I don't think they do. While HUD sounded upbeat, she recognized that the world is facing serious danger right now. There are even plans in place to impose martial law in the United States, she said. The next steps will be critical for humanity. As such, HUD argues it is crucial that the people of the world find out about the lawlessness, corruption, and thievery that are going on at the highest levels and put a stop to it once and for all. The consequences of inaction would be disastrous. And that we know this is all coming. We know that everything is completely falling apart. And just going back to this Project Sentry, I put a widget on the side here that is a petition that you're not involved with the Kokesh March. And, from other people, from like Michael Rivera, and that's where I got this from, and other places, I believe this is going to be a false flag. And, the military can put boots on the ground without permission of governor, mayor, president, and this does look like it's going to be some type of setup where they're going to basically stage this event, let everyone know that the gun owners are crazy. We need to take the guns away. Look what's happening, and it's going to turn out to be a shootout. A lot of people are going to die, and I don't think it's going to be good for anyone. And not, believe me, the gun owner, I mean, look at Switzerland. The lowest crime rate, the lowest murder rate, and everyone has a gun. Look at Chicago. Isn't that a gun-free zone? But their murder rate with guns is so high. How can that be? Because what they're telling us is a bunch of BS. Their only reason they want the guns away is so we, the people, cannot reset the system, because the system of government is completely out of control right now. All right, let's move on. And let me just say, before we move on, that our founding fathers did not, like Kokesh is marching on Washington, our founding fathers didn't march with their weapons on Britain. They went there, they tried peacefully to work out something with the government. It was the government that marched on the people. When the government is on the people and they make the first move, we, the people, have every right to defend ourselves. But we are not the aggressors. We do things peacefully. We, the people, like our founding fathers, try to work things out. We try to say, listen, we the people are upset of what's going on. We the people want a change. We the people are in control. And that's when government reacts. And they will eventually react. History always repeats itself because it's the same people that are in power. All right, let's move on. Now, Israel is gearing up for a surprise war with Syria if Assad falls. Now, do they know something we don't? I mean, it's just a very strange thing to say, unless they're going to assassinate him. We did see footage of Israeli soldiers and probably other people that we haven't seen footage of already in the country. They're probably already setting this up. And it's just funny how this comes out, letting us know what they're going to do. So you will probably see in the next couple of weeks an attempt on Assad's life. Okay, let's move on here. Also, I believe that, let me see here, that Israel is going to hold a massive chemical warfare drill also, just like New York. They're going to do this in July, the same time that Kokesh is going to march. He's going to do that on the 4th of July. And if anyone doesn't know this, I put all the potential false flags on the side of the site so you can see, these are the things that we can look out for. And there's probably much more than this, and if anyone has others, I will post them up there because I like to keep a record and track of what is going on. But I think it's very interesting that they're also gearing up for some type of chemical warfare when it's been known that the rebels that are funded by Israel, America, use chemical weapons on people and tried to blame it on Syria, that they used it, and then the UN went in and said, no, it wasn't the Syrian people, it was the rebels that did it. And, it's just funny that we're gearing up because, there's a false flag, and they're going to try again to get us into war, and that is a perfect opportunity with this drill. And there's other drills going on, throughout the country and in other places, and it's just unbelievable. Now in England, we saw this this murder of this person, but a lot of things don't make sense. I mean, the man was killed by a machete, but the guy they interviewed had a kitchen knife and a hatchet, a butcher's. I think it was a hatchet. It wasn't even a machete. And there's no blood. The first time I saw this video, first time of him talking to the camera, and where did the news come from all of a sudden? There was no blood on the street, and they keep saying that this is for Islam, this is for... Now, are they building it up also with terrorists in England so they can also join the war? and trying to build the case there also. I just find it it's a very strange thing, and when you look at the pictures, a lot of it doesn't make sense. Okay, but let's move on here. Now, Biden, came out that says, gun control push is coming this fall, and I've said this before, and basically, and again, this Project Sentry, they just want to get the guns away from the people. That is it. That's all they want. Nothing else, because they are afraid of the people. Just think of how many, and I know this is going to sound silly, but I remember when my kids were younger and they watched A Bug's Life, when there was a bunch of grasshoppers controlling the thousands of ants, and maybe there were 15 grasshoppers. And it was a good explanation saying, that if one ant ever realized that he had the power, we are doomed. It's the same thing here. If we, the people, can get out of our egos and can get out of being zombies and realize that we have the power, not the government, things will change. And our founding fathers continually remind us of this throughout their works and through the Constitution. Now, it's funny that this NBC correspondent comes out to say that Obama is trying to criminalize journalism. Basically, nobody is safe, and these news reporters didn't realize it because they were sleeping, that they were puppets of the government. And now they're starting to wake up and go, wait a minute, something's not right here. Maybe they should start really reporting instead of mimicking back what the government says and investigating. Because if the government gives you something, they should investigate it before they report on it. Why? Because the government always tells the truth? Come on. And, before, it was funny because before when the government was demonizing patriot groups, Tea Party and all this, it was fine. They were all for it. But now when they're coming after them, this is not fair. This is not nice. Of course, now everyone's starting to wake up and go, holy crap, look what they're trying to do. Yes, because they need control of the entire country, because when this collapse comes, they need to control it. And you can see that more laws are coming out. I mean, the government wants a backdoor into your online communications. Of course they do. They need to spy on everyone. They need to know where everyone is. They need drones in the sky. They need facial recognition. They need to spy on your phone calls, your cell phone calls. They need to track you with cell phone. They need RFID satellites in the air. They need everything and everything they can use to keep track of everybody. This is what they're using it for. And when they say, oh, we need all this for terrorists, they're the terrorists. They're the ones who are creating all this. They don't use it for this. DHS terrorist alert is always blank. They use all this to spy and label groups. The DHS fusion centers, they watch you because you're who they're afraid of. Okay, let's move on here. Now, there was an article out, now again, in New York City, stop and frisk, first and then ask questions later. Again, this is completely a violation of the Fourth Amendment. And the Fourth Amendment says the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures. They put this in here because this is what happened back then. And it goes on. Shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue, but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. Our founding fathers put this here on purpose. All of this was here because it happened before. Again, history will always repeat itself, and it's repeating itself right now in front of our faces. If everyone can just wake up, things will change. And their report about this whole thing goes on to say that basically it says that that the stop and frisk measures have shown that those suspects were white, were more often to be found in possession of some type of weapon or drug. So the white people usually had a weapon or a drug, but again, they're not allowed to do this. Is it against our rights, our Fourth Amendment rights? And basically it goes on to say, you know what they're really looking for? Guns. That's what they're really looking for. They want to know if you have a gun, and they want to take it away. Okay. Now, here is an interesting article. Public schools, in cooperation with the Department of Homeland Security, are now teaching kids safety measures and advising that they seek relief in FEMA camps in time of crisis. But are these post-disaster relief camps or military internment camps? Now, this goes back to the Project Sentry that I just read in the beginning of this report. They are brainwashing our people, and these camps remind me of another camp that they had in World War II in Germany. Now, they are completely doing this, and now it's coming, and you're seeing it really hit into all the schools and brainwashing our children to think a certain way. And they're doing this on purpose. Now, there was another article, and this was in the Washington Post, that House Democrats report says power grid is vulnerable to cyber attacks. You know, you heard this before. And this one goes on to say that 10,000 attempted attacks each month on America's electrical system. And basically they're saying that these cyber warriors, these web warriors, yes, that's what they call them, are going to attack our way of life. With one attack, they can plunge everyone into darkness and cause chaos. Boy, are they setting this thing up big time. They are really moving this agenda forward. This is going to be the false flag of the century. And I have said this before, this is going to really take people by surprise, and it's really going to be horrific. And I will not be able to broadcast when this happens. So when you're sitting in your home and the lights go out, you can say, holy crap, I knew about this, and I'm prepared. Everyone else around you will not be. And, you know, it's going to be just during this time period, it's going to be a very rough ride for many families because of the rioting in the beginning stages, and depending on your area, it will be fine. People will come out, they will talk, they will say, oh, look at the electric, it'll be back on soon, don't worry about it. That's what everyone always says. That's what everyone will do. And what will happen is 2-3 days will go by. People will be saying, when is this damn electric going to be on? This is ridiculous. We have no food. They went to the supermarket. They have no food. And a couple more days will pass. People will start getting really angry. Why isn't the government doing something? I don't understand this. Where is everything? People with battery-operated radios will try to listen for any news. They'll hear things like North Korea, China, Iran, Syria, whatever country it is. The report will come in that they did this, that we're under attack. People will get scared. People will start getting supplies because ransacking stores, food markets, anything they can to prepare themselves at this point. They'll try to find weapons to protect their families, because you have to remember, when people hear on the radio that these countries are attacking, they're going to think back to TV shows that we've been watching Revolution or movies like Red Dawn, and they're going to think that they're soldiers on the ground marching towards them. And they look around and they do not see the American soldiers. They don't see people to protect them because they can't be everywhere. And at this point, the government doesn't want to because they want them to be afraid. They want the scare tactic. They want this to push the agenda to war forward. And the most scariest times will be at night when people are on the streets breaking windows, trying to find food or water or ammunition or batteries or anything else they can find. Or it's just those people that like to destroy things during this type of crisis. Because when this happens, it doesn't bring the best out of people. Again, it depends on where you are. If you're living in the city, it's going to be a rough time. Suburbs, maybe not so much. Living out in the country and your neighbor's about 50 miles away, not so much. But, it all depends on where everyone lives. And, this is the time that we have to be prepared for. Now, there was another interesting story about the 2 FBI agents involved in the Boston bombing just happened to fall out of a helicopter and died. Have you ever noticed that people who are involved in, let's say, Bin Laden, the killing of Bin Laden, the SEAL Team 6, or here now with this, they always end up dying, so they can't come out later and tell what really happened? Or maybe they said something that they said they're going to go public and they were killed. How do 2 FBI agents just happen to be, involved with the Boston bombing, who made the arrest, fall out of a helicopter? How does the person in the Boston bombing get questioned at midnight by FBI agents and all of a sudden they were shooting him? All of this really stinks. Listen, everyone, if you have any information on the Project Sentry, let me know by a comment, or just give me any comments that you want. Thank you for listening. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate everyone giving me their input and emailing me, and just thanks a lot. And we all need to stick together at this point in time because we cannot trust what the government is saying. We can't. I've said this so many times, but it's always the opposite of whatever they say. If they're telling everything is great, it's bad. If they're telling you that they have this whole stock market and the economy is doing great and the stock market won't go down, it's contained, it's always the opposite. If they're telling us that, don't worry, we'll take care of you, it's the opposite. So listen, what we need to do is stick together, figure this stuff out, and come together as a group and exchange ideas. Do everything peacefully. We do everything peacefully, but we also defend ourselves. Because no one has the right to walk over the people. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot. Have a great day. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks.